weakness to meet the way he's acting with anything else, really.
Right. He wants to hit her. And the second he raises his fist, the whole village, like, don't you do it.
With weapons drawn.
Oh, right. Yeah. They're going to get him. You don't fuck with our Lady Kahlan. You don't do that.
And like you said, Richard and Birdman are both up top. So this is like the village people on their own without a leader being like, that's fucked up. Not even, like, we don't even have to have a discussion about how that's fucked up. She tells them all to back down, and she pretends like that makes it any better that the entire fucking village is going to be looking at this guy now like he's a fucking problem.
Right.
Because that's not going to go away. These people aren't going to forget that you just had a stand down with somebody that they respect a whole hell of a lot, I feel like.
Right. And not only do you respect this person, but she's very, very powerful, too.
Mm-hmm.
And she reminds him of that by putting her hand on him. That is a legit threat.
Right. She tells him, if you even think about fucking with Richard, I will kill you. And also, the rest of you, just so you know, we can all be cool, but don't fuck with me. Kahlan tells Channelan that I do respect that you fight for your people, just like I do. And she gives him a little tiny slap to give him back enough respect to basically show his face in the village, and then walks away before he has an opportunity to slap her back or not again. He doesn't have the opportunity to make it worse or better at this point. She just walks away.
It's kind of like she's being the bigger man. Like, I will restore a modicum of respect. So, like you said, you can show your face in the village. Plus, I think it was kind of a de-escalation tactic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not trying to be the enemy. And for the Mud People, that lets all of them know that Kahlan was acting in according to how the Mud People believe somebody should act.
She denied him the chance to be a dick again, and he really can't attack her at this point without literally everybody being like, oh, bad move, bud.
Yeah, they loves them some Kahlan.
The Birdman and Richard land again with Scarlet, and Scarlet gets ready to leave to go take care of her baby again. I don't know why you wouldn't be like, okay, can you maybe check in on us in a few days, and if we're still here, I might need a ride. I know that it was like a limited time thing, right? But like, you're in the Mud People, like, you're pretty far from anywhere you need to be at this point. I feel like you definitely don't want to walk anywhere from the Mud People village after you've already had to do that once. So I would just, like, make an arrangement or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as far as we know, they're on the southwest side of the Midlands, give or take. Dahara, all the way to the east.
I bet you we could look that up on the map.
I guarantee you we could. SOTmapproject.com. You guys should definitely check it out. Sean Bachman, what's up, buddy? But Dahara is a long way away. And you're right. It would make much more sense for them to be like, hey, we're done here. Maybe not immediately, but soon you should come scoop us back up so we don't have to take weeks and weeks to travel to Dahara again, where we do need to go. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Scratch that. We need to go to Aidendrill to go meet Zed. That's a long ways, too. That's north. Yeah. All the way north. So, like, we could still use you.
Right, and you gotta hunt for your baby anyways. So maybe just, like, you know, take a little fly this way and just check it out. Land for a second, ask if we're here. If we're not, cool, keep going.
Yeah.
Before she does take off, she gives Richard a tip of her tooth from the back of her mouth. Like, just pops it off because apparently that's no big deal.
You gotta really fucking like somebody to just rip part of your own tooth out. Like, I wouldn't do that for anybody. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was rotting or anything. And she was just like, there you go.
Just snapped it off. Like, well, don't you need this? You're a dragon, dude.
Are there dragon dentists? What's going on here?
Hope she has insurance.
And then she tells him to call her with it if he ever needs her. It's kind of like the snow globe in the Santa Claus when he, like, gives it to Charlie and is like, shake it if you ever need me. And then as soon as he takes off, he shakes it and he's like, ah.
Well, let me go at least. How funny would it be if Richard, shakes the tooth like little Charlie and he just sees Scarlet turn around in the sky like, what, dude? What?
I need a ride tomorrow. But it will only work one time, she says. That's why he can't just, willy-nilly.
He can't just waste it.
And it's only going to work because he has a gift. Richard does deny having the gift once again. And I feel like at this point, for a seeker of truth to be denying something this hard, he's just being a big old jerk. Because all the proof is laid out in front of him, and he's supposed to be the seeker of truth, and he's just, like, flat out ignoring it and shoving his head in the sand. Scarlet apparently agrees with me and just laughs at him about how if you don't have the gift, then nobody has the gift, and then she takes off.
Right. It's very, very clear to her that he has to have magic. Like, who the fuck would ride a dragon without the use of magic? So Richard gets back to Kahlan, and he's like, hey, while we were flying around and, being fucking awesome together, I noticed that you and Chandelier were having a standoff. What the fuck was all that about? And she doesn't tell him.
Yeah, the start of the problems that were in the last book where she was being all secretive and couldn't tell him anything. Here we are again.
You two are going to be together now, right? You're maybe not official, but it's a thing.
Yeah.
You got to be honest with each other. Like, you have to be. That's the rules. Damn it. You guys are over here fighting for truth. Don't be hiding shit from each other. Be blatantly honest. Every detail. It matters.
And I feel like there's no real good reason. Like, I suppose you could argue that she was worried that Richard would get upset or something unnecessarily. But I feel like he's not an irrational person, or he's not supposed to be. So if she was just like, I handled it, though, he'd be like, oh, cool, thanks.
Right. By the way, you kind of killed his uncle, so he's not your biggest fucking fan.
Yeah.
He's kind of pissed off. Would make total sense to tell somebody like Richard. He'd be like, he had it coming? Sure. But that's his nephew? Yeah. Maybe go console him a little bit.
Yeah.
Or talk to him and let him know that your intentions were not bad.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a very, very stressful situation, and I feel like I know how this could be solved.
Oh, how's that?
Well, beer. Like,
oh.
Yeah.
This...
If he showed up on a dragon with, like, a nice drink to pass around to, I think that this whole situation would just chill right out, and, it'd be fine.
I agree with you. But I think that this situation specifically may call for something a little stronger than beer. And conveniently, we're not drinking beer today.
That's right. Tonight, we actually have created a cocktail. If you guys remember a couple of episodes ago, we tried Mas Agave. It's a beer from Founders. It's a grapefruit beer that was aged in tequila barrels, and it was really fucking good. Me and Jade pretty effortlessly crushed a 6er, and we thought it was fantastic. But the thing we were curious about is that they said it was based off a cocktail that they really liked called the Paloma. And that is, if you don't know, the working man's cocktail. So we happened to have some tequila. I was curious about it, and I mixed one up, and it is fucking fantastic, guys. All it is 1 part tequila, 3 parts like squirt or a grapefruit pop or soda for those of you in the South. And just like a splash of sweet lime juice over the top, and it is fucking delicious. Pour that over ice, and you will have a fantastic night.
Or time recording a podcast, like us.
Yeah.
But we both need a refill, so we will be back right after this.
And we are back. And much like you do when you start to have a couple of drinks, the village starts hopping as night falls. Now, Kahlan, seizing the opportunity, wants to get Richard alone. But Richard points out that, hey, everybody's going to want to talk to us and, like, hear the whole story about what happened, because they can't be bothered to buy the first book. So maybe it's not the time. Maybe it's just a little bit rude to show up and be like, here's your kid. We're going to steal your church because we want to go fuck.
Talk to you later.
Yeah, bye.
Because we literally can't wait till after dinner. So we have some more convenient recapping at this point in the book as they tell the villagers everything that happened over and over. Since it's dinner time, Kahlan keeps trying to, bring Richard some food and, feed her man. And she brings him some cheese. He tastes it and immediately spits it right out because he's like, that's fucking gross.
They are meant to be together. If for no other reason than they have this weird inclination to throw perfectly good cheese on the ground.
Weird aversion to cheese. Although Kahlan in this chapter does tell us why that happened. She tells us that apparently she got sick one time after eating cheese, and then everyone was like, hey, just feed her more cheese. And eventually she was like, no, fuck cheese. Totally understand that.
Just keeps making her sick and making her sick. I'm good.
Yeah, no, good. This is the second time that Richard has eaten cheese that other people say is totally fine and thought it was totally gross, and he thinks nothing of that, even though he's been eating cheese his whole life.
Yeah, his taste suddenly changes, and they're like, maybe it changed literally overnight. And Kahlan attributes that to, maybe you're taking on my habit, but that doesn't make any sense, dude.
Yeah.
You don't like cheese because you don't like cheese. It's not a bad habit.
And Richard, being the seeker of truth, doesn't even question it. He's like, oh, yeah, all right. Cheese is gross. Cool. Moving on.
So that's a thing that happened. So at this point, two of Chandelin's men come up to Richard and Kahlan while they're eating and talking about their mutual new hatred of cheese, and they offer open hands and strength to Kahlan. Basically, they're making peace. We're his men, okay? We're not his babies. We don't have to do what he says. I'm my own man, and I do what I want. These two guys' names are Prindon and Tossidon. So from now on, it's Prindon and Toss.
Yeah.
So they slap Richard because that's what you do, and then they try to defend Chandelin's attitude, which Jade and I kind of agree. Yeah, he's going to be mad at Richard and Kahlan, and that's not like a weird thing for him to feel.
Yeah.
It's natural for him to have a little bit of hesitation in welcoming them to his village.
Yeah, if you're looking at it from Richard and Kahlan's perspective, maybe you're like, oh no, that sucks. But if you look at it from his perspective, totally makes sense. He's a protector of his village, and these people came, and then shit started going bad. So, don't blame him, really.
Right. And Kahlan, too, she's trying to press that, look, we are mud people just like you guys. We are on the same side as you. And most of the village does accept them, but now it's just like, instead of it being an honorary thing, it's kind of an annoying thing.
Yeah, at least to me. I would, if I were in any of these people's position, and Kahlan kept being like, well, we're mud people, too. So aren't you going to treat us just like anybody else? And to their credit, they say yes, they are going to. But then she keeps pushing it. And she's like, what about that guy who hates us? Is he going to treat us like mud people too? I'd be like, probably not. Because, like, you're not. And you haven't lived the same way that we have always. And you don't respect our traditions. But we're cool, right?
Right. So as these guys are talking to Kahlan, Richard is checking out their weapons, and he compliments them because they look fucking awesome. And these guys are soldiers. We know that these are the guys who stand on the outside of the village in case anybody tries to get in. These are the first line of defense. The best fighters. The hunters invite him to come with them to, like, shoot their bows and target practice.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You go out there, you practice with your weapon, you have a good time. You know, you hone your skills together as a group.
Yeah. You go drink a little, shoot some shit. That's what you do for fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, backwards than that. But yeah. you drink after you shoot.
Depends on where you live, I think.
We live out in the sticks. You can drink and shoot as you please. And of course, Richard being Richard, he wants to go do this. Like, fuck yeah, I'll come shoot with you guys. Now, it also says here that Savidlin has had a bow made for Richard as a gift for, like, saving his kid. Jade and I were talking earlier about how this shows that Sav had faith in Richard because he knew Richard was going to come back with his son and he was going to present him a bow. I've built a bow in shop class. It's not the same thing as he did. I understand that. I have modern technology, but what I was explaining to Jade is you have to heat and treat this wood so it bends into the shape of the bow, but it's naturally a straight piece of wood. It's very difficult to do, very time consuming, and I imagine would have taken a shitload more effort on his part than my part in high school making a silly little bow that, I mean, truth be told, didn't make it more than a couple of months after I made it. Apparently, I'm not a very skilled bow crafter?
Bowman.
A bowman? I like that. Yeah, we'll go with that. But so he had faith in Richard that he was going to return his kid, and I thought that was really cool.
I also think maybe it's a good way to keep your mind busy if your kid's fucking missing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So that was... You can fill all my time. I'm going to make a fucking bow. Shut up, Westland. I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm going to go out to my shed and make a bow.
Yep. You just gotta go out to the garage and hit something with a hammer for 20 minutes.
But Sav also says, this was supposed to be a surprise. I